Alright everyone, I thought I'd give you an update on the psychedelic, psychoactive plants that I'm growing. So I'm going to be behind the camera for most of this video, but I thought I would just sit in front of it for this, for scale. This is probably the best grown plant that I've got at the moment, which is the Salvia divinorum. The leaves are big, I don't know, I'm trying to put my head into it so you can get a size, but yeah. Pretty big. It's in quite a big pot now. I can't get it on camera all at once. But here you go. Just to show you how fast this plant grows, I'll put on screen now somewhere how it looked in May, I think, when I got sent the cutting, and it was just 2 little leaves and a stick, and this is how it looks now. So can I get the camera back anymore? Get a better shot of it. So yeah, it's pretty fast growing plant. Let's get the camera. Handheld, I think, is the way to go. I've got it on the tripod. Anyway, so let's have a look at this. Yes, and most of these plants I'm going to show in this video were sent to me as cuttings by Miss Famicom, another YouTuber, and yes, I'm greatly indebted to you for sending me these, because they have just grown amazingly, and the cuttings were just really strong, and I have a bad habit of killing everything I try and grow, so I'm just glad that these have taken off so well, most of them anyway. I've got it in some normal soil, but problem I've had when I need to overwinter it, basically. I have a really hard time overwintering salvia anywhere other than in the house. But when you grow in the house, you get a lot of fungus gnats in the soil. So in an attempt to stop them, what I've got is soil, and then a layer of sand, and then a layer of pea gravel. Hopefully that'll stop them. It probably won't, knowing fungus gnats, they just get in everywhere. But we'll see. And so far it looks amazing. I haven't topped it or anything like that yet. I'm waiting for it to get taller. I hear in nature they get so tall and then they sort of collapse over and root themselves. So I'm going to let it get to a sort of height where it's very almost tipping over, and then I'm going to pinch off the top, and then all of these side shoots here, which are quite small, will suddenly go boom and start sending out shoots. And on my other grows where it was quite a branchy, people were asking me how I got it quite so branchy looking, and that's how I do it. You just pinch off the top 2 leaves there, just like that little bit there. You can just, that'll stop it sending growth upwards and it'll start sending growth outwards. Of course that was before I killed them, because I didn't overwinter them properly. Hopefully I'm going to try and keep it indoors. The condition I've got it in at the moment, like the setting is, basically I've just got it here. It's sort of behind this sort of shelf for growing, and sort of in this corner. It's leaning a little bit towards the light, but I don't want it in full sunlight right in the window, because this is a south facing window. So it's kind of here, and it seems to be doing well. It was underneath on the bottom shelf, and it was getting quite a lot of shade under there, and it was doing well, but I outgrew its pot, and yeah, so there we go. That's the Salvia divinorum. That's the best plant, I think. Oh fuck, I've forgotten what this one was called. I'm sure I had a label in this one. Is it Psychotria vidris? Or is that a different plant? Oh, I could be completely wrong there. I bet the label's just fallen off somewhere. Let's have a look. I do not know. I'll have to look back on my other video, and I'll probably put a name on screen so you can know what that's called. And that's grown quite a lot since the cutting. That was also a cutting. Obviously it hasn't grown as much as the salvia by any stretch of the imagination, but I imagine this is growing quite a slow growing plant. And I'm guessing also the environment's not ideal in the UK, because the leaves are so wrinkly looking. I could be wrong, but I don't think it's meant to look like that in its ideal setting. Like the leaves down here are a bit straighter, but these ones are just wrinkly and weird looking. So I just imagine that's an environmental factor, which I'm not too worried about because it's not dying, it's just wrinkly. Oh, excuse me belching there. Here's the canna, which is growing, it's rooted, and it's just growing one long thing. I was hoping it'd send out more. I don't know if I have to pinch off the top of this. I don't know if that would work for this kind of plant, like a succulent. But my main reason for growing this is so that I can try the traditional method of preparing, or so I've read online, is the traditional method of preparing canna, where you kind of smash it into like a pulp, and then you dry it in the sun, and it makes a kind of canna jerky or something, like a fruit roll up, and then you chew that. I think the only thing that I was sent which didn't survive was the Mimosa hostilis, which just didn't survive. I don't know why. I treated it the same as my other plants, gave it the same care and attention, but it just didn't survive. I suppose that's quite a good casualty rate for some plants that have been settled in the post. You know, some of them don't survive the journey as well as others. This is my last remaining Kraton plant. It has been a green stick in the ground for about a year. It hasn't sent out any new growth. I've tried keeping the soil moist to try and get it send out growth, and all that happened was I don't know if you can see, the soil kind of got this green moss on the top. It doesn't look too healthy for the plant, but I don't know. It hasn't gone dead. It's just green. It's just a green stick. I don't know. I don't understand how a plant can survive that long with just a stick, but I've seen a dead Kraton plant and it does turn brown when it dies, so I don't know. Maybe one day it'll start growing again, but I'm not holding out hope. I'll just keep it going. This one has been outside and it's growing strangely. It's the Nicotiana rustica, the wild tobacco, and it's strange. It's like, first of all, it was just leaning over, so I had to sort of prop it up against my fence. I might have to put like a stick in. I don't know why it's doing that. I'm sure the pot must be big enough. Maybe it needs a bigger pot, I don't know. And also the first sort of set of flowers it sent out didn't seem to flower. They seemed to make these, just form into these brown balls things. Unless they did flower and I just didn't notice, and they are actually the seed pods. But I kept an eye on them. Oh, they could actually, no, they do look like the seed pods. Yeah, maybe they just flowered and I never noticed. But anyway, these are the first flowers I've seen this year. Maybe I just wasn't keeping an eye on them. Who knows? Anyway, yeah, it's weird. It's like leaning over. I don't really know why. It's a strange plant. It's still going though. It's growing. It's just lazy, I think. Lazy bastard. Let's get that out of the way. That's going back outside anyway, and as soon as I finish the video, I just brought it inside because it's too noisy outside. And this is the one that I said I was going to do cuttings for you, Miss Famicom. The Shinichiuichi, however you pronounce it. This is another outdoor plant I've bought in briefly. I always worry when I bring in plants from the outside that they're gonna, all the bugs that are all over them are gonna suddenly release themselves on my indoor plants. So, but anyway, I'm going to try and do cuttings again. I've been trying to take cuttings off this plant. It hasn't really grown very much this year. Basically, over the winter, it completely died. As you can see, these sticks with nothing on them. That's basically how the whole plant looked. And I thought it was dead, and then it suddenly sprung back to life. But since then, it hasn't grown a whole lot. I think maybe I need to trim back the dead stuff, which I might do. But for now, I'm going to try doing some cuttings. I'll show you how I'm going to do the cuttings based on your advice. Was to try putting try increase the humidity, because I wasn't doing this beforehand. So what I've got is 4 pots, and I've got some Ziploc bags as you suggested. I'm going to look already, a fly, get out of the soil. I'm going to try putting some cuttings into the soil. It's fairly decent soil, I got some good stuff. And also, where's the bottle for the stuff that I'm using? You can use this stuff for propagating cuttings. It's a plant growth stimulant. Apparently it'll stimulate rooting as well. You can use it to feed your plants, or well, to stimulate growth in sick plants. I might try feeding the actual Shinichi plant with it. But it's just, I really like this Maxicrop stuff. I've used it in the past. Their nutrient feed, the plant food one. I've never used the plant growth stimulant, but I've got a fresh batch brewed up here, so I'm going to soak some of these pots. I hate watering things from above because I always think it makes the soil kind of collapse and go a bit weird, and kind of compresses it too much for me, my liking. I like to sort of feed from the bottom more often than not, but I'll just do it today. See how much it's sort of pressed down the soil. Whereas I think if you feed from the bottom, if you water from the bottom of the pot, just let them sit in some water, it kind of stays fluffy and light. But whatever, it's just to do some cuttings in. Oh, let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at this fucker. Not really sure where to take the cuttings from. I'm going to cut off this dead stuff here. The dead stuff can go. Maybe that's what's holding the plant back. We don't need you no more dead leaves, dead sticks. Okay, that's all the dead sticks cut back. I probably should have done that a long time ago, but oh well. So I'm going to try and take about 4 nodes down on this. So first cutting, I'm going to take off these leaves. Yeah. So there's one, and let's continue with the others. Okay, all done. Now we have 4 cuttings in Ziploc bags. I've left a little tiny gap in the top just so a bit of air can get in, but I'm expecting them to sort of steam up a bit. I don't know whether to leave them in sunlight, full sun, or partial shade, or what. I'm not really sure. If anyone watching can give me some advice on that, let me know. But hopefully this time they root, using the magic of the Maxicrop plus the baggy technique. So stay tuned, and yeah, hopefully if they root, I can get some cuttings to you finally. I think, seems I promised you that back in May when you sent me the parcel, and yeah, just haven't succeeded in it yet. But yeah, hopefully it works this time. Anyway, that'll be the end. Oh no, actually, I'll show you outside, because I didn't want to bring this plant in because it always gets the same bugs on. I'm going to say this bit now because as soon as I go outside you won't be able to hear me speaking because the road's so noisy. I've got a wormwood plant, but every year it gets these little black bugs on it. They look like aphids almost, but they go down the stem and they kind of dance. They like dance in unison. It's really weird. I try and get it on camera so you can see. They go down the plant and they stand on little spindly legs, and when one moves they all move like a Mexican wave down the plant. They're really strange. It doesn't seem to have killed the plant yet, and they get them every year, but I don't think they're doing it any good. That's why I didn't bring it inside, because I want to Don't want to give that to any of my other plants. Get my really nice shoes on. So it looks like it's starting to flower a bit there. Some bugs. Yeah, I don't know if the camera will pick them up, but there you go.